OpenGate Video, Real Log, ProRes, manual controls, one-time purchase, and zero user tracking. Finally, an OpenGate video app for iPhone I can get behind. Meet OpenCam, the new app from solo developer Richard Chi, and everything you see in this video was shot with it. Now recently there has been a ton of interest in OpenGate video, not just on the iPhone but cameras generally, and the term OpenGate is a throwback to film cameras which have a mechanical gate in them. A much better term for digital cameras comes from Chris Nichols at DP Review TV, who calls it full sensor recording. Simply put, OpenCam lets you capture video using your iPhone's full sensor, which is 4:3 and not 16:9. This is why photos taken on the iPhone are 4:3, because they're using the entire sensor. If you record in just about any other app, your video is recorded at 16:9, which is a crop on your 4:3 sensor with the additional information discarded. And this sort of makes sense. 16:9 is the standard for video. So why film in 4:3 instead? Well, there are two main reasons. The first is flexibility. By recording using the full sensor, you have more room in post to reframe your shot, whether that's for landscape, portrait, square, you name it. And if you need to deliver for both landscape and portrait from a single camera, 4:3 gives you the flexibility to do that. And the second reason is because it looks fucking cool. If you enjoyed the Grand Budapest Hotel, the Lighthouse, or the Tragedy of Macbeth, you'll know just how nice the 4:3 aspect ratio is. And what makes OpenCamera the best 4:3 full sensor app on the iPhone is that it's the first to offer Apple Log recording, and Apple Log is the only true log profile on the iPhone. This maximizes your dynamic range, disables tone mapping so you can actually lock your exposure, it turns off the ugly digital sharpening, and it also means your footage is ready for color managed workflows inside of DaVinci Resolve, which has full support for Apple Log. And of course, it means you can use your LUTs designed for Apple Log, like EPIC LUTs. Yes, sorry, that was a shameless plug for EPIC LUTs. And we are up the mountain now, and it is cold, but what is not cold is this app's pricing, because it is available as a one-time purchase of $30 US. This is great news. If you need a cheaper option, it's $3 a month or $15 a year, but one-time purchase for the win. So let's jump in and learn how to use it. The first thing you'll want to do is scroll your camera controls to reveal the settings button and tap to open it. Enable autosave to photos and show advanced overlay, which is essential if you want to manually set your exposure. I'll tell you why in a minute. If you're in a PAL region and want 25 FPS, enable PAL frame rates. Next, if capturing in HEVC, you'll want to set the bitrate to high or maximum for the best quality, and yes, Apple Log is supported in HEVC. But for the highest quality possible, enable Show ProRes options and choose your flavor of ProRes. I personally like ProRes LT for most scenarios. File sizes are more manageable, but you still get 10-bit 422 chroma subsampling, then tap Done. In the lower left of the live preview, you'll see that we now have our advanced overlay, which gives you a readout of your focus, white balance, and exposure. Next, I'll enable ProRes. As for resolution, to capture an Apple Log, you'll need to choose HD. Apple does not currently make Apple Log available for 4K OpenGate capture on iOS, and there's nothing the developer can do. Next, tap on color space, and now we can choose Apple Log. And there we have it, Apple Log in full sensor OpenGate. Next, let's look at our stabilization options. We get access to both standard and cinematic stabilization. These can be essential for handheld capture if you want smooth results, especially if you're using the 5x lens where they are essential. But they do digitally crop in on your frame, so if you're a 4:3 purist and shooting on the wide lens, set this to off and either use a tripod or gimbal, otherwise standard should work well enough for most cases and cinematic for the tele lens. Right now everything is in full auto. We can tap to set our conjoined focus and exposure point of interest, But if you want to take manual control over your shot, you can swipe in the viewfinder from right to left to reveal your manual controls, or just tap on them to reveal and hide. Here you can see focus, warmth or temperature, and exposure are all set to auto. With exposure, you can stay in auto mode but apply an exposure offset, which is nice. And to reset a control slider, just double tap it. Another nice touch. Let's start by setting our exposure manually. Tap on the M. This can be a little bit fiddly due to the small size of the buttons, but now we get a pretty interesting way of setting exposure. ISO is adjusted on the vertical Y-axis and shutter speed on the horizontal X-axis in landscape. Nice in theory, but the design flaw is that your thumb obscures the value readout, making it hard to set. In portrait orientation, this isn't as obscure, but this is why we enabled our advanced overlay under settings. Now we can adjust with our thumb and watch the advanced overlay for a readout, and for example, lock in a shutter speed of 1/48, then refine with our ISO for filmic motion blur. It takes some getting used to, but with some practice, it isn't too bad. Next, let's tap on the M for manual focus, and now we can manually set our focus. And the same applies to temperature, nice and easy. And if you scroll down, you get access to zoom, but this is digital and lossy, so avoid it if you want the best image. I can double tap it to reset to 1x, and you can also pinch to zoom in the viewfinder. This is useful for checking your focus, fine-tuning it manually, and then zooming back out. And we are ready to record. When we end a recording, the video is automatically saved to our Photos app. Another killer feature of OpenCam is the 16:9 and 9:16 frame guides. If I enable the vertical guide, now I can frame for social media in camera. We can do the same for 16:9 landscape, and we can even enable them both at the same time. Really neat stuff. Okay, so now you know how to use OpenCam and what the app is capable of. There are still a few UX issues that I'd like to see get ironed out. It was very fiddly to use with gloves on, but for an initial offering, this is truly excellent, and I've had a bit of back and forth with the developer Richard on Twitter as a beta tester, and he's very quick to take on board feedback and implement new features, so I can't wait to see how this app develops going forward. As always, this isn't a sponsored video, just my honest thoughts of what I think is a very cool app. Please like and subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell if you want to master mobile filmmaking, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.